Most humans want more freedom, more joy, more fulfillment, more money, more better health. And I actually think that is by design. Of course it is. We were meant to expand. We were meant to experience ourselves fully. But here's what I've been noticing. If you are not actually experiencing more of what you want, the life that you want, it may be because you are stuck in fixing mode. And that's a really subtle shift. And that changes everything. And that is what we are going to be talking about today. Welcome to Infinite You Beautiful Souls. I'm Dr. Sheri, spiritual psychologist, multidimensional mindset mentor, and human potential catalyst. And on Infinite You, I help you to come home to yourself, step into your authentic self, into alignment, so you can consciously create your life and what you want from the inside out. And if this message resonates with you, go ahead and hit subscribe. I would love for you to be a part of this community. And if you know someone who might be able to benefit from this video, go ahead and share that, and let's dive right in. So why do we even feel like we need to fix ourselves in the first place? I think part of it is definitely cultural, part of it is psychology, and part of it is the whole self-help, self-improvement hamster wheel that we can definitely get on. And remember, historically, well over 100 years ago, Freud was definitely in that space of, telling women that they were neurotic and that they needed constant fixing. And it was really a cash cow. And so there are long-standing cultural implications for that feeling, that overriding feeling of, not feeling like enough, or, being in chronic fixing mode, right? We're constantly being shown to be better, to do more, to optimize more, to fix more. And it sounds positive, right? Because it's really cool to just expand and grow and evolve and, see how we change over time, unless you realize what it can possibly create for you over time. And so I want to offer you today a little bit of a shift in perception so you can kind of move past that and see, what can be instead of what fixing mode can actually attract more of for you. Because you don't want to start relating to yourself like something that always needs work vibrationally, and that frequency just don't really ever get you to where you want to be. It doesn't get you to be in that law of attraction magnetic mode. And I know there are many layers to how we manifest the life we want, but I'm just talking about this specifically. You don't want to tell the universe, you don't want to be in that mode of you're close, you're not quite there, one more thing and you can fix yourself, right? And then everything will finally click. But before I talk about what you can do to shift, I want to talk a little bit about why you don't need fixing in the first place. And ultimately, that is the truth. You really, really, really don't need fixing. You are not a project. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are simply carrying patterns, conditioning, programming, beliefs, experiences, and emotions, and the energetic traces of those emotions that really fully are not who you are, but you're carrying them. Remember, at your core, you are already whole. You are already capable. You are a powerful, energetic being that came here to create. And so I'm going to just say it this way. You are what I would call divine. You came from this eternal, everlasting place of divinity, not in an abstract sense, but in a very real way. You can observe, you can choose, you can imagine, you can see the bigger picture, you can, and I'm going to say this in like a geeky, sciencey way, you can imagine something and collapse the energy of whatever is going on in the quantum field and bring it into physical form. That is how you can consciously create your life. You're creating your life anyway, right? But why not be conscious about it? So how does fixing mode block you? This is what I really want you to hear, because this is what really matters. Remember that fixing mode sounds like, I'll feel better when I have it all figured out. Once I understand this part of me, everything will come into play. I just need to fix this one last little thing, and then everything will click, and then I'll have everything I want. And it just is chronically keeping you outside of what you want, because you're pushing those desires and those wants and whatever it is you can see in your mind's eye, you're pushing them out to some future date until you believe that you are ready to have them, until you believe that you deserve them. Because when you get into that space and that mindset and that way of being in the world, you are pretty much chronically postponing the life that you know that you want. So you're saying really to yourself and into the quantum field, you're saying not yet, not until, not like this. And that creates a feeling of effort, of rumination, of analysis, and definitely subtle tension. So, it kind of reminds me of something. Let's go for something really simple, like, weight loss, let's just say, right? If I lose these last 25 pounds, that's when I'm going to feel good about myself. That's when everything will click. That's when, I will be happy, right? Like, it's just that constant mode of pushing off what you want now into some future timeline. And so it just, like I said, it creates a subtle tension. And so even when you grow, it can still feel like something isn't fully clicking because you believe that it's true, right? Your beliefs, the thoughts that you think, the beliefs you hold, your subconscious programming of what you believe that you deserve, who you think you are, what you think you can have, all comes into play here. So your thoughts, your words, your self-talk, your beliefs are creating an identity, and that identity is deeply responsible for what you are bringing into your physical reality. It all starts within. So what can you do instead? Shift how you relate to yourself. Shift the beliefs you hold. Acknowledge the programming that resonates with you, and release the programming that doesn't resonate with you. Become the observer of your mind. Become the observer of your heart. I want to be really clear about how I say this. I just made a whole video a couple of weeks ago about metacognition. So metacognition is amazing. It's really thinking about your thinking. It's really becoming the observer of your thoughts. For sure, that matters, because you want to get really, really clear on patterns of thought, deeper patterns of like sponsoring beliefs that are, part of your programming, right? We're all programmed. It's just the nature of being human. And our really amazing subconscious mind, for what it's worth, good, bad, or in between. I have no judgment about it. All right. So think about your thoughts. You're being in that awareness, that metacognitive space. But remember, this is not just an intellectual thing. We have neurons in our hearts, and our hearts are really what is creating. Our heart is really what is imagining, what is forgiving, what is attracting, where our compassion comes from, right? So our hearts and that heart-mind coherence are fundamental to how you experience yourself, how you imagine what you want your life to look like, and what you know you can have, what is true for you. And so when you get into that space of observing how you feel, observing what's happening in your heart, observing what's going on in your mind and your thinking, it is nuanced, it is layered, it is not one thing. So it can be very simple, but for most of us, It's a little bit more layered than thinking a thought and having it come into being in a thing. It can totally happen that way magically, but I think for most of us humans, it's a little bit more nuanced than that. But when you get into that heart mind space, when you move past the metacognition and the intellectual aspect and into your heart, you will definitely start thinking and seeing clearly. You will get very clear on what you've been carrying. You will get very clear on who you are not, what you want, what you do not want. You will allow things to release. You will do this without needing to relive them. You do not have to relive all of the things that brought you to this moment in time. You can move past it with grace, with your sense of divinity, with your knowing who you are at the soul level. So you move out of your head and into that deeper space and into your heart where you can really truly begin to let things go. And that's where the shift really comes. You get to choose who you are right now. And from that place, your programming shifts, your beliefs shift, your identity shifts, and your life will really truly start to reflect that. And so if you can feel this, but you're not fully living it yet, I invite you to join me in my membership in Infinite You. It's a great place to really understand the bigger picture of how all of this conscious creation really works, right? There's a multi-layered, nuanced way of manifesting more of what you want. You can also join my free newsletter, and you can sign up for a human design session, which is really all about your energy, your inner authority, and the most aligned way to create more of what you want based on your individual human design. And all of those links will be down below. But remember, I just want you to know that you did not come here to spend your life fixing yourself. You came here to experience yourself, to create, to live full out. Remember, 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 you know who you are, a beautiful, amazing, divine, expansive soul. And that starts with how you relate to who you already are. And I will see you all next time, beautiful souls. Namaste.